It's my honor to introduce our Reverend Joanne Boruck with our, let me see what she's talking about, the power of forgiveness. That's a biggie.
Do you know Ernest Holmes always talked with music in the background? He had this organ music like, dun 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 dun, and he started with, there's a power for good in the universe greater than you are, and you can use it. So I decided I was going to play this today in the background, if I can get it to work. You guys hear that a little bit? And you can still hear me? So today I'm going to talk about forgiveness. And I'm going to talk about the Ho'oponopono, which is a Hawaiian forgiveness tool. And the chant for this is, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, in our philosophy, week after week, we talk about thank you and I love you. That's only one end of the stick. The other end of that stick is, I'm sorry, please forgive me. We don't talk about that enough. So today I'm going to quote from some monks, from Hanalora, from Hawaiian Oregon Energy, and I take no credit because whatever is coming to you is coming through me to you. I want to read a treatment, an opening affirmative prayer that was written by a practitioner. Her name was Marjorie Lagoit. And she starts with a couple of quotes. She says, these are Ernest Holmes quotes. Beyond this body and deeper than this mind, there is a perennial wellspring of life, which can flow through us to eternal givingness and everlasting forgiveness. And Desmond Tutu, he says, forgiving is not forgetting, it's actually remembering. Remembering and not fighting back. And the remembering part is particularly important because you don't want to repeat the past. And this is the affirmative prayer. And if you chose, you could close your eyes. There is one divine presence. That one is God, the infinite spirit, that is in, through, and around all that exists. This one is all goodness, truth, wisdom, life, power, mind. It is always with every person, no matter what is going on. I'm totally one with this presence, this spirit. It is my truth of being. It is also the truth of all those who are involved in any situation in which forgiveness is necessary. It is the truth of all who feel that they've been wronged in any way. I declare that each of us is now led to forgive those who have done something which we feel is harmful or hurtful to us. I am positive that each one now comes to the position of being ready and willing to forgive. Each one understands that forgiveness of that person, persons, or group does not let the other person, persons, or group off the hook, but lets the one doing the forgiving off the hook. As Desmond Tutu also said in another quote, forgiveness relieves those who are forgiving of all anger and negativity. I accept this truth for everyone who now is in the process of being able to forgive others. I give thanks that this is now done perfectly and completely. And I now release this to the great Creator who brings everything into being in the highest and best way. I release, I let it go, and declare it is done right now. And together we say, and so it is. And now let's just hold in our consciousness all those who are hurting, and send them unconditional love, which is a form of forgiveness. All those dealing with health issues, with relationship issues, with abundance issues. Okay, welcome back. Wow, Logan must have been dreaming about today when everything he said, I thought, wow, I got goosebumps. Because there really is only one of us. One mind, one heart. Ernest Holmes says, asking for forgiveness and forgiving with gratitude to Creator will change your life. And he also goes on to say, forgiveness is unconditional, or it's not forgiveness at all. In Divine Forgiveness, one of his books, he says, Jesus says that we should forgive 70 times 7. I'm sure we've all heard that. But I think that's just another way of saying that forgiveness is eternal and ever available. Some people I know, once in Hannah Laura's course, she said, every day when you go to bed, I bet you there's one thing you should forgive. And when you lay your head down at night, you should just think about that and say, I forgive all those who wronged me or that I wronged. And I'm going to talk about that later because in our philosophy, we do the same thing. So I was wondering, did you ever feel like life's fallen short on you? Or sometimes you just feel like life played you a bad hand, but you get all righteous about it. Well, if you're righteous about your forgiveness, you're living in delusion. And there's different parts to forgiveness. First, you got to recognize it. You got to understand what you're feeling. And then you have to commit to forgiving. And to be able to do that, you have to humanize the offender. I know you've probably taken a class too where they say, imagine the person as a 3-year-old and the innocence and the childlike face, and then it's hard to get angry at them. That didn't always work for me. And the last thing you have to forgive is yourself, because you have to continually forgive. So I just invite you this morning to join me in learning about Ho'oponopono, a Hawaiian healing ceremony. I'm going to move this. Is this too loud, the music? Okay. Is that better? Okay. So just in case I didn't say it enough other weeks, there is only one truth. And there's so many similar aspects in so many people just say Ho'oponopono, but it really is Ho'oponopono. And there's a lot of OPs, ONOs in there. And it's identical, not even similar, identical to Science of Mind teachings. And I'm going to reiterate them at the end, but maybe you can pick up on some of them. So it says, healing our hearts and the world through Ho'oponopono. That prayer is a prayer that connects you to your soul, to others, and to the world. And believe it or not, this is what it said in the Ho'oponopono training. Believe it or not, thoughts change your reality. We hardly ever say that here. And what you perceive as reality depends on your perspective. Well, we say that here too. And I don't know if you know the story about that. So the story is about someone who healed a ward of mentally ill criminals magically. And if you know about Ho'oponopono, you know that his name was Dr. Hugh. And he was a clinical psychologist. But if you've never heard it before, this is your story. So Dr. Hugh Len was assigned to heal a facility of mentally ill patients. He went there and did something astounding. He read the records of every patient at the center, and he started healing himself. He healed himself as he empathized with each story. He chanted 4 mantras, they're called, which led to a process of cleansing. And this is them. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So Dr. Hugh, who cured a ward of insane patients without even meeting them, what he did, he went through their files and he healed himself. The healing process involves thinking about the mindset of those patients and asking for forgiveness by connecting with them at a subconscious level. So according to that spiritual practice, he calls them bodies. We have a spiritual body, a mental body, and an emotional body. And all 3 of those have to be connected in order to do a forgiveness ritual. And he said sometimes we're all at different stages. When we're angry at somebody, sometimes it shows up in our spirit, in our mind, in our body. And if you've ever had a difficult conversation with someone who's not willing to hear you, you know how that feels inside your body. Now, what is so similar about that, we talk about the body, mind, and spirit as being 3 things. He says they're all part of the one body. But the other part of that was he never even met them, and he didn't even meet with them to heal them. He did distance healing. He healed something within himself that sympathized with them. He brought in that Ho'oponopono to clear the air and establish trusted space. So I'm sorry. It's the first step, and it's not just about accepting the fact that the wrong started. Because guess what? The wrong started with you. Whether you did something to someone that you have to say, forgive me, all that started with you. And whether someone wronged you and you want them to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, that also started with you. So everything that we heal within our own soul. And then to say, I'm sorry, asking for forgiveness is a healing. And asking for forgiveness doesn't absolve them, but it heals you and brings you peace. Now, thank you. Gratitude is an emotion that we have to say again and again and again because it cleans the air. It's all you have to say is, I'm grateful for you in my life, thank you. And you just feel lighter. And then I love you. Well, giving love is caring, and it's an emotion that accelerates the healing process. So if you just say to one person, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you, and you end with, I love you, I think if my mother would have ended some of those lickings with, I love you, instead of, this is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, I would have really changed something. And now I'm thinking about my divorce. And, why couldn't we have just said, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. I think it should be written into the Divorce Act. In Hawaii, they say that Ho'oponopono translates to making things right. It's a powerful mantra. They keep always talking about cleaning the slate, clearing the air, because the air around you gets muddled. And so forgiveness is releasing all that anger and resentment. And this is word for word from the Ho'oponopono training. Everything that is your reality is something perceived by your mind. Your connections, the people you know, are affected by your inner self. Well, we hardly ever say that everything happens in your mind. So he calls you being closed. He calls them the closed ones. And he means the body, mind, and spirit. Because Dr. Hugh says those people in prison, they had shut down. And it starts with the spirit. It moves into the mind, and then it shuts your body down. And it really reminded me of healing. When we're doing an affirmative prayer for healing for someone, it manifests in the body, but that's not where it started. That's the secondary cause, we call that. Manifests in your body, but first, it had to go through your mind to get there. And I can guarantee you probably 110% of the time there's something in your spirit that told you something's not right. Something's not right in your relationships, in your money, in your body. We ignore it. Then it comes into our mind and we can't get rid of it. It keeps talking to us at night and in day and we still don't listen. Then it manifests into your body. So he calls them the closed ones. Excuse me, the three things. And you know, we have a positive impact on 1, 2, 3 simply by smiling. It's not really hard. You can smile at someone and just make their day. And even if you smile at them and you know that they're like a teller in a store and they're so upset, you can just simply say to yourself, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You would not believe the energy that you're going to give off to that person. You have an impact on every person you know, like Logan said. Now, if your mind can have problematic thoughts and you can feel insecure, then of course you can solve them. Because there's this technique you can use now, these 4 sentences that give you full control of your life. But it depends on your approach to clearing your consciousness and enchanting the mantra of power. The mantra of power. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Those 4 affirmations hold healing strength. And when I talk about doing a distance healing, Ho'oponopono is about healing others by healing yourself. Wow, what a great thing to know. I don't need somebody to say, I'm sorry, please forgive me, because I created that in my own consciousness. So a Ho'oponopono practitioner believes that the healing part has to come within us. The negativity that comes within us only comes from the blocks in our consciousness. Blocks are caused by what we feel, our closed ones, body, mind, and spirit, think about something. Well, that's almost word for word for Ernest Holmes, that everything happens to us and through us. So those 4 affirmations can be used to foster self-love and to shift your energy towards healing and the big word right now, reconciliation. I remember when my granddaughter graduated from university, she got her master's, and she's half Inuit, and she was one of the few that were getting a master's of that, of the indigenous nature. And so there was a medicine man there. There was only 4 out of almost 1,200 people that were indigenous getting their masters. And he got up and talked. He made them all an amulet and made them all a little pouch, which was so sacred, and I was so blessed. But he got up and he said, thank you, all of you, for recognizing the need for reconciliation. And then there was, like, of course, a section of indigenous people watching this. He goes over here and he says, Reconciliation can never happen without forgiveness. And he comes back over here, and I just was like, I was so moved that he recognized that reconciliation is only part of it. They have a part, whoever they are. And now it's us too, like in all our relationships. You want to reconcile what's happening in your life? Reconciliation can't happen without forgiveness. So the healing doesn't need to be two people present in a common environment. Healing is done from a distance. And you can say it out loud at home, and it has much greater impact than thinking them. So let's say those together. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. So saying I'm sorry is like admitting your responsibility. I'm responsible for anything that ever happened to me or any wrong that I've ever witnessed. It's the first step in accepting the fact that all wrong started with you. Not many people want to hear that, and that's why people don't come back here. Because somebody comes here and they tell them, guess what? If you experienced it, if you witnessed it, you can release it. Because it started in your mind and you can let it go. Don't let it become part of your spirit, mind, and body. And then we move to forgive me. Now that's a form of asking for an apology from the universe. It doesn't matter that you've wronged someone or not. It's a cleansing method to remove negativity. Asking for forgiveness is a healing method that helps you move on in life. So when you're saying, I'm sorry, please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. If you say it to universal consciousness, to God, wow, imagine how that would rain down on humanity. And then we say thank you. You keep saying thank you repetitively. We say it all the time. Say thank you, because gratitude towards the universe is an important part of healing. Say thank you for all the forgiveness. Thank you for the changes within you. Thank yourself for being who you are. Gratitude's a really powerful emotion, and it must be said over and over again. Again, we're talking about clearing the space around you. Thank you cleans your energy. And the last one, I love you. Say I love you to yourself. Say I love you to God. Say I love you to your body, to the house you live in, to the food in your fridge, to your surroundings. Love is a powerful emotion. And it comes with layers of warmth and security. Giving love is easy to someone else because it's an emotion and you get feedback and somebody loves you back. But loving yourself and saying, I love you without expectation, that takes courage. Repeating Ho'oponopono allows deeper concentration. Repeating Ho'oponopono allows reprogramming of your subconsciousness for better healing. When you feel sorry, thank you, and love deeply, it helps you get rid of the clogs. The process gives in lots of positive energy. It gives you a better understanding of your inner self when you chant Ho'oponopono. So those 4 affirmations are the road to miraculous self-growth and actualization. As you chant those 4 chants, you'll discover comfort, you'll discover peace, you'll discover love for yourself. And you know, Ho'oponopono is easy and powerful, and it's soul healing, and it's worth trying. So you can experience the power of 4 simple, short phrases for yourself. Forgiveness, compassion, and peace are all the things that Ho'onopono brings you. You can translate that word, Ho'onopono, to correct a mistake or make it right. I'm just going to turn this on again. And I remember in Ernest Holmes' book, when I first learned it, the next song on here is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Isn't that weird? I don't want to play that. So Ernest Holmes says that we never make a mistake. And I really like that. He says we miss the mark. So if we, I just type in that mark. If we miss the mark, we get to do it over and over and over again. I can't find it, so I guess I'm not playing it again. And that was just another example of how it's this identical and very, very similar to our teaching. Ho'onopono helps us purify our body, and forgiveness gets rid of unpleasant memories. We have this file cabinet, and it's so easy to file all those negative things because it's our self-preservation, you think. I'm going to remember that so I don't go through that again. But every time you're remembering that, you're closing yourself off, the closed ones. I'm not going to try that again. There are some people here who took some great leaps of faith. And I know you know who you are. And I acknowledge you because a leap of faith took forgiveness. And when you're practicing Ho'onopono, meditate. And you'll find immediate advantages in your life. Sometimes you don't know what to meditate on. Maybe just those 4 things. And why can't I find it? Maybe it's in my library. Got it. Persistence. Okay. So we're going to meditate on Ho'onopono. And I want you to go deep inside yourself and practice the art of saying, thank you. I love you. And then, I'm sorry, please forgive me. And reflect upon yourself with compassion, redemption, appreciation. This started as a practice to bring families together. I think we're all one family. Let's bring ourselves together. And I know as you leave here today, there's a spark within you that sings the mantra of forgiveness and love and the path to peace. We'll just listen for a minute. So as you leave here today, I wish you the most blessed, blessed week. Some of the most divine beings in my life are in this room today. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. I am Reverend Joanne Faith, peace, and much love, Boruck. And I wish you a peaceful week. Thank you.